What's going on, guys? CWG here. Welcome to another episode of Nomifactory. You guys like the little tools on my belt? Last episode, we have started our Gregification process. And in between episodes, me and Stircat have been doing a little bit of work. Looks like Stircat has moved all our stuffs and things into this building over here. Wow. We got some drawers for stuffs and things. We got the chests over here, nice and organized. You'll love to see it. Also, as you can tell, we have furnaces that are golden. And they can smelt items like way faster than a normal furnace. Look at that. Also, it has a buffer of like 4 stacks built into the furnace. Pretty cool. We just had to do it for like this part of the quest line. To get the gold furnace, you need the gold, and then the silver furnace, you need silver, copper, iron. Yeah, you get the deal. Although to get the next furnace, you need diamonds. Yeah, we ain't got those kind of diamonds. Also, diamond ore doesn't show up on our prospector scanner. So I'm assuming that diamond ore can like spawn anywhere and it just kind of spawns the same vanilla way. Not sure though. Guess we'll find out. Also, in between episodes, I have crafted this basic satchel. It's just leather, some tin, and some wool, and it can hold 9 stacks of items. Pretty fancy. Now there's no time to dilly-dally. We gotta keep knocking out these quests. Let's do the glider. This thing is super cool if you haven't seen it before. We just gotta craft ourselves some iron rods. And we turn it into a triangle. Look at that. And then you gotta craft the right wing and the left wing. Smack them together and you got yourself a hang glider, baby. Oh, let's go use this thing immediately. It's super fun. As far as I understand, you just pick a direction you want to go, jump, and right-click the glider. Look, it's like an elytra, kinda, except for we only go down. We can't go back up. And this is gonna make exploring so much easier and more fun. Whee! We need to start working our way towards power in this quest book. As you can see off camera, I did this quest in which we had to gather a bunch of materials. Now we have to spend those materials. We gotta make copper dust, iron dust, we gotta make red alloy dust, which I'm pretty sure is just a mixture of copper and redstone, yeah. So none of this is too hard to craft. Conductive iron is made with redstone and iron dust, so yeah, none of that's too hard. You can look at our valuables chest. We got plenty of redstone to work with. We must use our mortar, and I may have to craft another one. So I'm going to craft all these dust, ingots, wires, you name it, off camera, and we'll be right back. And all we need to do is to make some conductive iron wires, and we should be good to go. We got to get out our wire cutters so we can cut the plates into wires. Yes, so realistic. Quest complete? Quest complete. We get a Nami quarter. Ooh, that's a lot of cash money. And now our next quest is to get the steam dynamo so we can finally start generating power. This is the exciting part. We just need an iron furnace, copper plates, wrought iron gear. How do you make the gears? Oh, you use a wrench to make the gears? Okay, that's kind of neat. How do you make the excitation coil? That red alloy plates that we made, conductive coils, uses gold rods. Oh baby, look at all that crafting. This is a true Greg recipe right here. Oh, and from last episode, you guys remember how I said we're gonna do the great migration to the void world? Well, as soon as we can charge items, we're gonna do it, because I was looking at it. I'm like, how expensive are building gadgets? What tier of technology do we need to make them? And look, it's just the normal recipe to make the building gadgets. We don't need any like crazy circuits or anything, which is honestly really surprising. You would think in a Gregtech based pack there'd be some ridiculous recipe for this, but there's not. So that's gonna help building a base go way faster. Now I'm gonna get everything we need to make this steam dynamo, and we'll be right back. And let's make ourselves a couple gears here with our handy dandy wrench. Like literally, this one crafting recipe uses almost all of our tools. And then boom, we got steam dynamo. We finally have a source of power. You'll love to see it. Next quest is to make some fuel catalyzers, which will make our steam dynamo more efficient. And I'm all about efficiency. We just need a bunch of wrought iron. I'll get to crafting. And just like that, we get 2 fuel catalyzer upgrades. Nice, let's slap it in there. Pretty sure you could just right click them on. Yeah. For our next quest, we're gonna need some conductive iron energy conduits, which is how you transfer the power out of the dynamo. It's crafted using conduit binders, which we've already made, and super conductive iron wire. That's pretty neat. Who would have thought that iron is a superconductor? By the way, in Gregtech, superconductor means that the wire doesn't lose any power. Yeah, some wires actually lose energy the farther they go. That's as Greggy as it gets. Oh, that's not iron, that's conductive iron. I guess conductive iron would make sense. That's a superconductor. I mean, it's in the name. Okay, so let's craft some cables. Nice. Next up, we need to find some rubber. In order to get rubber, you need to pound down some sticky resin, which you get from smelting slime. But I'm pretty sure you also get the sticky resin just by chopping down rubber trees. Now, we can go out and try to find a rubber tree, or you can do it the lazy way, which means we can finally spend our Nomni nickels. Oh, it's funny, in the comments, you guys told me that it's actually not pronounced Nomifactory, it's pronounced Nomifactory, but come on, that's not as fun. And look at that, we got a stack of rubber tree saplings. I'm gonna go plant them outside. And hopefully, once these bad boys grow, we can get ourselves some sticky resin. Oh, also, off camera, there's a quest to make a wrought iron axe. I don't even remember where the quest was, but it was somewhere. Oh, yeah, right here. And it turns out all the Gregtech hammers, if you use one of the Gregtech materials, like wrought iron, boom, chops down the whole tree, one go. You'll love to see it. So I'm going to go around deforesting everything, so that way I can plant more rubber trees. We're going to turn this area into a rubber forest. Wow, look, our first rubber trees have grown. Stircat, what is this technology? Look, it's dropping sticky resin. Ooh, sticky resin. That way we can use rubber to insulate our cables so we don't electrocute ourselves.
How does this look like? Ooh,
oh, that actually does look kind of cool. I like that.
Yeah, it's yellow, huh?
I like yellow. That's my brand color. Look at the crown. Next, we must smelt the sticky resin, and it will magically turn into tar. Wait, that's not what we need. Oh, you have to hammer the resin, not smelt the resin. Duh. Did you even go to Greg's school? Alright, listen, I haven't finished my coffee yet. I'm still losing my sanity. So you're telling me I could just hammer down this resin into rubber sheets? Yeah, look at that. Boom. Get hammered, nerd. Rubber sheets. Next up, we need a rubber soft mallet. What the heck is that used for? Like when you hit someone's knee to test their reflexes? Apparently it's used to stop and start the Gregtech machines. Like you hit it with a hammer and it turns off. I love it. Well, how do we get rubber bars? Now, unfortunately, I don't think we have the technology to get rubber bars. We need like fluid solidifiers and stuffs and things. So we'll have to come back to this quest. I'll get you eventually. Oh wait, never mind. This quest accepts soft mallet from any material. We could just use wooden planks. Could it really be that simple? Hey, quest complete. It is that simple. The next quest is to make Gregtech item pipes. Apparently, Gregtech item pipes are like new to this version? Because you have to remember, this is the Gregtech Community Edition unofficial. Totally not confusing. Which basically it means it's a mixture of like all the different Gregtechs that the community likes. They smash it together into one big Gregification project. Basically, the quest is telling you the advantages and disadvantages of these item pipes. And apparently, the Gregtech pipes can transfer way more items per second, but Ender IO is better for like filters and stuff. Let's just pound down some tin, use our wrench and some hammer, and boom, we got a small item pipe. That simple. We get 2 Nomni nickels. Next up, the game wants us to make some red alloy cables. Can do 12 of them. And after 5 years of back-breaking manual labor, I got 12 red alloy cables. Let's go. Whoa, Gregtech cables now support RF conversion natively. You can plug an RF machine into an EU cable directly. Oh, since when was that a thing? That's cool. Like I said, we are playing on the newest beta version of Nomifactory, so I guess this is some of the new stuff. Next up, we need to make electronic subcomponents like resistors, vacuum tubes, and circuit boards. Oh, and now we're starting to get techie. What do we need for this stuff? We need a coated circuit board, which is some wooded sticky resin. We need copper wire, which is cut foil. Okay, we can do all that. What about vacuum tubes? You need steel, copper, and glass, okay? And the resistors, sticky resin, paper, coal dust, and copper wire. Okay, so it's just going to be a lot of crafting. It also recommends we put this in the crafting station. Oh, that's another quest back here, is to make these crafting stations. And it wants us to make 4 of them. Yeah, let's go ahead and make this. This should help us out a lot. And there we go, 4 crafting stations. Neat. Now let's see how these guys work. From what I understand, you just like set a recipe in here and oh, you could put like storage in here too. Available items from connected inventories usable for crafting. All right, give me a moment to read all this text and see how this thing works. And just like that, we got a circuit board. And I crafted the resistors and the vacuum tubes. I set up one crafting station here to craft all the stuffs and things for the vacuum tube. And then I set up another one over here for all the stuffs and things for the circuit board. Now the crafting station can save up to 9 recipes and can pull from any adjacent inventories. So if I have like chest, crafting station, it's able to access everything inside of those inventories. So I could be like, hey, I need some copper plates. I just click on it, boom, got a copper plate. So that should speed this up quite a lot. Oh, look at that next quest, our first circuit. And it's basically just putting together all the parts that we made so far, except for we need to make a steel plate. And now let us make our first electronic low voltage tier circuit. Yay, we got basic circuit. Congrats, we've unlocked a new cape. See the cape selector terminal app to use it. You mean that terminal thing we got like back at the beginning of the season? Yeah. Well, I'm not sure where to find the capes in this thing. Never mind. Guys, we bought some sulfur ore with Nami coins so that way we don't have to go to the nether, and it gives us a villager head that says I bought ore with Nami coins. It's got the crowd, look. It's got the C-Dubs crowd.
I have the crown now.
Yeah, look at that. Actually, it's like almost exactly the same. Did the Nomifactory developers, are they CWG fans? I see. Whoa. All right, so here's our next conundrum. We need to find out a way to get infinite fuel. We have the infinite water. Next, we need the infinite fuel. I know you can burn sugarcane. Like if we put a sugarcane in here, it should just start generating power, right? Yeah, look at that. But now we need an auto sugarcane farm. Anyways, ignoring the fact that we don't have a renewable source of fuel to power this thing yet, let's move on with the quest and make this low voltage energy converter. This basically will convert from RF to EU power and back and forth. We're gonna need tin cables, red alloy cables, a low voltage machine hull. It says you just need imagination to use this. What is this? Wrought iron, steel, low voltage machine casing, more steel, more wrenches. Oh god. I'll do a lot of crafting and we'll be back. All right, after 10 years of backbreaking labor, we have it, the low voltage energy converter. I've just been setting up all these recipes in these crafting stations. You got one for the red alloy wire, the tin wire, the resistors, the diodes. You got some over here for the copper wires. And then put them all together, we finally get to the low voltage energy converter. Quest complete. LV power.
Yay.
We get 1 Nomni nickel. I feel like I deserve a Nomni quarter for that, but you know. So this block literally just converts power. That's it. Not much more to it. We should be able to like hook up a wire to one end. Do we have to like wrench it? Yeah, look at that. FE power comes in one side. EU power comes on the other side. That good old European Union power. Now, the next quest is to make the low voltage battery buffer. This is going to allow us to actually charge our items and hold little batteries that have little charges in them. They're super cute. They're crafted with 4x tin wires, a chest, and a low voltage machine hull. Well, we have the low voltage machine hull right now. And luckily, we can use our crafting station here to make these wires up nice and fast. Boop. And should be able to make 4 of these. Nice. Oh, actually, we have to make a new hull because we used the other one on the converter. Well, good thing we have all these things set in here. Oh, baby. And status update, I'm making more flux capacitors. That's right. We're using flux capacitors to store buffer energy. Now, let me show you guys what I've done so far. I set up our infinite water source on top of our steam dynamo with some coal in it that is generating power. It's going into the converter. The converter is going into the battery buffer, and it is charging these flux capacitors. Let's add, they can hold up to 4 different batteries. Boom. Now there's also a quest to make the Gregtech batteries where you can make lithium ion batteries. I know, very realistic, but they only hold 120,000 EU and there's like a 4-to-1 conversion, blah, blah, blah math. I'm pretty sure these flux capacitors are better. That's what I'm trying to get at. They hold 10 million RF each. Oh, baby. And I've attached some super conductive iron wire. And in Nomifactory, these wires, if they're super conductive, they will not shock you. See? So we don't even have to insulate them. You'll love to see it. So we now have a power source. We have our wires. We're ready to power some machines. And I think our putting it all together quest is now complete. Even though it's just like a check mark box. It says how to set it up. It trusts you. And there we go. That should unlock the beginning part of the quest book. Yeah, right here. Programmed circuits. Our very first quest to the next page. Although we do have a bunch of quests we still have to complete on the first page. But what I'm waiting on is for us to get our machine so that way we can like make gears via the alloy smelter or maybe the fluid solidifier instead of wasting our precious materials using this method. So now that we're into the beginning, we can make our very first machines like programmed circuits. Let's just do the check mark, blah, 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 claim the thing. What this guy basically does is you can set it to 32 different channels, and depending on what channel you set it to, it will control what the machine does. It'll make sense here in a second. Next up, we have to make the basic wire mill, which is a machine that will make wires for us so we stop having to use our wire cutter and wasting precious materials. It's recommending that we use electric motors inside one of the crafting stations because we're going to need a lot of them. Yeah, that's understandable. Man, dude, the quest book is so good. It gives you such good advice of what to do. Something you don't see in mod packs these days. So, how do we make the wire mill? We need 4 electric motors and 2 of those circuits and a machine hull. Oh, baby, this is going to be expensive. And how do we make the electric motor? What the heck? We need wires, more wires, some rods, a magnetic rod. How do we make it magnetic? Oh, we combined a rod with redstone to make it magnetic. That's hilarious. We should be able to automate that in the future, though. So I'm going to get crafted this wire mill. It's probably going to take approximately 1,000 steps, 2 years, and we'll be right back. And after 70 hours of crafting, we can finally make it, our basic wire mill. I have a dude over here ready for electric motors. I got a guy over here for this, a guy over here. We got crafters for everything, baby. So as you can see, our power buffer is charging. I put some coal in here. In fact, it looks like our coal is running out. So this machine takes 32 EU per tick, which should be the output of this guy. I'm pretty sure. So hopefully nothing explodes. I mean, no, everything looks right. Just gotta attach the wire here. Well, let's try this guy out. Say we need copper wire. We can use our wire mill here with a programmed circuit set to 1. So I believe you just right click, set it to 1. There we go. Put that in here and then the copper in here. So after staring at this machine for a while, I'm like, why you no worky? I found out these flux capacitors, yes, you can charge them inside the battery buffer, but you cannot actually discharge them into EU. So that's why we need to make these batteries over here. It's all making sense now. It's clicking in my head. But what we can do with these flux capacitors is put them in a bobble slot and it will charge all the items in our inventory, such as our ender sword. Look at that, it's charging up. You'll love to see it. So I guess we can leave one of the capacitors in here to charge and then we'll fill up the other slots with batteries. Oh, well, that's not how you make batteries. I thought that was lead plates. Apparently they're battery alloy plates, which means we need to get lead, which we have, and then we need antimony. How do we get antimony? Give me a moment to figure out how to get antimony. Hey guys, I found a way to get antimony. Well, Stircat did. Using our coins, we can craft some stibonite ore, and then I guess if you smelt the stibonite, you get some antimony? Yeah, look at that. Okay, cool. So if we mix the dusts together, we get battery alloy dust. Wow. Then we could smelt them into ingots. Wow. Then we could hammer the battery alloy into plates. Wow. Then we could turn them into batteries. Wow. Now what we have to do next is fill it up with lithium. How the heck do we get lithium? We gotta find lithium ore. Prospector, where's the lithium ore? It is not on here. Ah yes, the answer to all our problems could be solved with Nami coins. Thank you for the lithium. Now we can fill up our batteries with lithium. We got small lithium batteries. They're so cute. Now we should be able to just throw them in here. Throw some coal into our steam dynamo. Now if we put the copper in the wire mill, it's working. Yes, technology. Stircat, we have technology.
I hear noises.
Look, it's making wires. Ah, I no longer have to cut these wires. They're now being wire milled. This is beautiful.
It looks like a face.
Hello there, wire mill. I will call you Millie.
Millie?
So, I've done some mining off camera. Actually, I've done a lot of things off camera. Let me get you updated. First of all, you can see I've upgraded to diamond furnaces. Look at all those tasty diamonds. It could hold like 7 stacks of fuel and stuff to be smelted while holding 8 stacks of finished product. This furnace is awesome. What, you want to see how fast it is? Here, let's smelt some chalcopyrite. Yeah, it's pretty decently fast, I would say. Also, I've set up even more crafters. We have the one over here for electric motors, and now we have this one up here for electric pistons, which I needed to make even more machines. How many machines have I made? Let's go check upstairs. And I present to you machines. Yeah, I may have gotten a little bit carried away. The Gregification is getting a hold of me. I must continue, must further the Greg. The Greg wants me to build these machines. I will build them. So we have our wire mill. Oh yeah, check this out. In the newest version of the Community Edition of Gregtech, this is now a feature. Instead of having to put the circuit over here and you have to craft a new one of these circuits every time, which they're expensive because they cost a freaking electronic circuit, you can click in this slot instead, and look, you can like set what circuit you want using the plus arrows and down arrows, and it doesn't actually consume the circuit, so you don't have to make a million of these. That's awesome. So as you can see, we could put in a copper ingot and it will turn it into wire. Nice. So I've been doing that to the other guys. We got a bending machine here. What does that guy do? It can bend stuff into plates. It can also bend stuff into like sheets and all kinds of other things like springs. We're going to need springs eventually. Over here, we got the basic macerator. This will turn ingots into dust or ore into crushed dust. Look at that shiny copper dust. Right now, this is most useful for coal. So let's go ahead and macerate down 12 coal into dust here. That's because over here is the basic alloy smelter. And yeah, you can see the steel that comes out of this. You remember the primitive steel thingy that we have up here on the roof? Yeah, this guy that takes 20 seconds to make a singular steel. Well, we got an upgrade now. This basic alloy smelter, you slap in the iron, slap in the coal dust, realize it doesn't work because you're not supposed to use iron. I keep forgetting. This is Gregtech. You don't use iron, you use wrought iron. It wouldn't be Greggy enough to just use normal iron, no. Alright, let's try that again. Put the wrought iron inside, and look at that. It's so much faster. It's only like, what, 8 seconds per craft instead of 20? I'd call that an upgrade. It just uses the power from our battery buffer, which, by the way, our lithium batteries are completely full now. Turns out with these efficiency upgrades in here, it barely consumes any coal, so this is like super efficient. Next up, we got the basic lathe here, which can turn ingots into rods. It could also do all kinds of other things, like turn bolts into screws, ooh, and approximately 238 other recipes. Yeah, true Greg fashion. And we get 2 rods instead of 1 that we would normally get from the hammer, so that's nice. And then over here, our final machine is the basic polarizer. You slap a guy in here, boop, and it magnetizes it so we don't have to spend our redstone. Nice, look at all these machines. We even got an achievement for that, even though I've crafted these before. So if we look at the quest book here, let's get a little bit of a progress update. You can see I've been going pretty ham. I've unlocked the low voltage piston, so that way we can make our macerator, bending machine, and lathe. We still have to make like a compressor, an autoclave, whatever the heck that is, an extractor I kind of want. We're going to need to make pumps, fluid solidifiers, all kinds of things. Well, there's a few basic goals that I really want, like getting to the assembling machine. This will allow us to make those circuits that are a pain in the butt to craft a little bit easier. There's also pulsating dust up here, which leads to the Ender IO item conduits, which I want. There's also the path that goes to the right here that goes to my beautiful applied energistics. Oh, we're definitely gonna want that. And then down here is the blast furnace, which will allow us to unlock medium voltage. So we got a lot of work ahead of us here. Which one do I want to do first is the real question. And I think what we should do is work our way to the extractor and the fluid solidifier, because this will allow us to make gears and other things easier that we can't make that are still kind of a pain. So I guess we have to make the electric pump. How do we make the electric pump? Oh, baby. So there's 3 different recipes. One that uses styrene butadiene rubber. No idea what that is. Silicone rubber. Don't know what that is. And then, oh, just normal rubber wings. We could do that. We need a wrench, a screwdriver, a tin rotor. How the heck do you get that? You could use an extruder, but we don't have the extruder yet because the extruder... Actually, where is the extruder? Is there no quest for the extruder? Oh, the extruder is medium voltage. Well, in that case, we're going to be going for the fluid solidifier anyway. So we're going to have to use our tools again. Oh no. How do we make the rubber rings though? You cut the rubber sheets with a knife. Interesting. Well, I'm going to get to crafting all this stuff and I'll be right back, guys. All right, after much crafting later, we have everything we need to make the low voltage electric pump. As you can see, look at all these different tools we need. We need files, screwdrivers, knives, you name it. We had to make like rotors and all kinds of crazy things. So let's go. Low voltage electric pump. Achievement get. Now the next two things we're going to want is the extractor to make liquids and the solidifier to put those into molds. So let's start with the basic extractor, which apparently combines the extractor and the fluid extractor. Gotta love the community edition, am I right? So we're gonna need a pump, a piston, couple circuits, machine hull, glass, tin, all stuff we've made before. So I'll spend the next 20 minutes crafting and we'll be right back. After much crafting later, we finally got it. The basic extractor, aka the dejuicer device of doom. Interesting. So now in order to get to the fluid solidifier, we need to unlock pumps, which I guess is just Gregtech's way of pumping items, which is going to cost, oh my gosh, 4 of these electric pumps, 2 circuits. I do have a couple extra circuits. The machine hull's not too bad, but yeah, these stupid pumps. All right, back to crafting. I'll be back. And after crafting multiple electric pumps, we have the basic pump, which can pump like water, lava, oil. That'll be useful eventually. It works a 40 by 40 area. Interesting. Consuming 32 EU per tick. Pretty fancy. Quest complete. Slurp. We get a knobby quarter for that. Nice. Oh, and in order to get to the fluid solidifier, first we need to make the mold. So we need to make 4 different molds. Gear mold, block mold, rotor mold. Oh, the rotor mold and the gear mold are going to be the most nice, so I stop having to craft those silly things. How do we craft these molds? Well, you just use some steel and some tools, so I'll get to making some molds and I'll be right back. All right, making these molds were actually pretty easy. You just use the hammer in different positions to get them. Nice, achievement get. I would have expected that recipe to be more Greggy, but I guess I'm not gonna complain. So now we can finally work on the basic fluid solidifier, which is gonna allow us to do so many things. You could also turn lava into obsidian using this guy, apparently. It's gonna cost more circuits, more pumps, more holes. We've done that before. We'll get to craft it, we'll be right back. And finally, we're able to make it, the basic fluid solidifier. Oh, so we can finally use our molds now, I think? I went ahead and put our extractor right here. We should be able to slap our solidifier right next to it. Switch this guy to auto fluid output enabled, so it should push the fluid into here. Okay, so in theory, we could put some sticky resin in the extractor. It's getting extracting, 8-second process. Let's see what happens. It turns into raw rubber pulp. Oh wait, that doesn't give us rubber. Wait, how do we get the rubber? Oh, so apparently what you have to do is extract rubber things into rubber juice, and then you use the rubber juice to solidify into other things. Okay, I kind of understand. But eventually, we'll be able to react the raw rubber pulp with sulfur to make rubber. We're not quite there yet, but once we do, we'll be able to get even more rubber. Let's try out one of our rotor molds. So we put the mold in here. Can we just like put some tin in the extractor? Will it melt it into molten tin and then pour me out a full rotor? Because that would be awesome. Oh, look, it's working. And just like that, we got a full rotor printed out. Oh, that's going to save so much time. Because remember before, to make a rotor, you needed like 4 plates, you needed a screw, you needed a ring, you needed a file, a hammer. All that, no longer needed. You'll love to see it. Guys, I don't know how I have not noticed this before, but there is a recipe to turn sticky resin directly into rubber sheets. This would have saved me so much rubber. All you have to do is use the compressor. It's only 8 EU per tick to process. That's pretty cheap. And yes, there is a quest to make this guy. I just did not notice that it had that rubber recipe in it. That's so important. So we're gonna need 2 pistons, 2 circuits, 1 hull. We've crafted all this stuff before. I'll be back. And making these pistons is going to be way easier because we could just make the wrought iron gears directly through the molds and no longer have to do it that silly method anymore. Let's go. And after much crafting later, we have the basic compressor. Compressomatic C77 says the description. Okay. Quest complete. Low voltage compressor. Let's add this to our endless line of machines. So, are the rumors true? Can this just simply take some sticky resin and turn it into rubber? Actually, let me show you guys something real quick. So me and Stircat found out that these rubber saplings, they only take 1 bone meal to grow. So you can create like a giga 3x3 tree, which is not too big of a deal, except for with the wrought iron axe, it gets the whole thing at once. Yes, look at that. 40 sticky resin, 1 go. But the question is, will the compressor work? Please, give me rubber. Yes, look. It's just straight up making rubber sheets 1-to-1. Now this is some delicious technology. Next up, we must work our way to the low voltage assembling machine. This guy is gonna allow us to make all kinds of things cheaper. So we're definitely gonna want it. So first things we're gonna need is a low voltage robot arm, as well as a conveyor module. And you may be like, what the heck do those guys do? They're basically little panels you can slap on the side of the machines. And it can like auto suck, auto put items into it, do all kinds of other automation thingies that we're definitely going to be using once we start like setting up some automated factories. Right now, everything's pretty manual until we get into AE and some other things that I want before we start just going ham with the automation. Now, the arm and the conveyor uses stuff that we've already made before, so I'm going to get to crafting all these components and we'll be right back. Now, if I've done my math correctly, we should have everything we need to make the low voltage robot arm. Let's lock that recipe in. And the low voltage conveyor module. Lock that in as well, because something's telling me we're going to need a lot of these guys. That should be 2 quests down the hatch. Let's go. And now we've unlocked the quest for the low voltage assembling machine. Assembly machines come early in Community Edition unofficial. Oh, so I guess in like the real Gregtech, or I guess like Gregtech 6 or whatever the most recent one is, you don't get this machine as early, huh? For example, you could make up to 6 vacuum tubes in a single craft with this thing? Really? Because the way we've been doing vacuum tubes is a super expensive recipe using tons of steel and copper. Oh, but you could put it in the assembling machine with just 1 steel and 2 copper and a little bit of liquid red alloy. Okay. That's kind of cool. Oh, and there's even a recipe that does not use red alloy. You just put in one of the program circuits. All right, so this assembler is going to be super clutch. How expensive and painful is it going to be? 2 robot arms, 2 conveyor modules, 2 circuits, and a low voltage circuit hall. So more crafting for me. Yay. And finally, our most expensive machine yet. The basic assembling machine. Give me that. Avengers assemble. All right, so we got it. It's beautiful. Look at all the 1,500 recipes that it could do. Oh boy. And one day we'll be able to use our basic circuit assembler to make those circuits cheaper. Look, it only costs like 2 resistors, 2 tin bolts. Only thing is it requires soldering alloy and a bunch of other crap we don't have. But one day we will get there. Well, let's try the assembling machine with our vacuum tube. So we slap in some glass tubes, some copper wire, some steel bolts, and our #1 program circuit, and it should just make them? Well, look at that. Easy to get vacuum tubes. This is a major Pog Greg moment. It makes me wonder what else we can use the assembling circuit on. Could we use it on these guys? You could use it to assemble the motors too. All right, this assembling machine I feel like has just unlocked a ton of potential. Can you use it to make pumps? Yes, you can use it to make pumps. Can you use it to make pistons? Yes, you could use it to make pistons. Yo, this assembling machine is awesome. And with that, we're out of time for today's episode. We've made incredible progress this episode, and hopefully this trend continues into the series. Maybe next episode we'll go for the blast furnace or work our way towards AE or mob simulation. I don't know. Until then, I'll catch you guys in the next one. CWG. Oh.